They watched him live, not knowing it was the last time. Jimi Hendrix's life is not just a story of music, it is a story of struggle, imagination, and a kind of talent the world rarely sees. Born in Seattle, his early life was far from easy, surrounded by financial hardship and instability that could have easily broken someone with less determination. But even as a child, Hendrix showed signs that he was different. While others played normally, he would hold a broom, like a guitar, pretending to play, imagining sounds that did not yet exist. This was not just a child playing, it was the beginning of something extraordinary. When he finally got his first real guitar, it became more than an instrument. It became his voice, his escape, and his identity. He did not follow traditional methods of learning. Instead, he explored every sound, every note, bending and shaping music in a way that felt natural to him. This unique approach made his playing stand out, but it also made it difficult for others to understand him at first. His journey to recognition was not quick or easy. He spent years playing in small venues, backing other artists, often being overlooked despite his incredible ability. There were moments when it seemed like his talent might never be fully recognized. But Hendrix continued to push forward because music was not just something he did, it was who he was. The turning point came when he moved to London in the mid-1960s, where his talent finally found the audience it deserved. In a completely new environment, surrounded by people who appreciated innovation, Hendrix quickly gained attention. Musicians were amazed by his style, and audiences were captivated by his energy. It was during this time that he formed the Jimi Hendrix Experience, a band that would go on to change music history. When he stepped onto larger stages, it became clear that this was not just another guitarist. This was someone redefining what music could be. His performance at the Monterey Pop Festival became one of the most iconic moments in music history. He did not just play his guitar, he transformed it into a tool of expression unlike anything seen before. Playing behind his back, using his teeth, and then setting his guitar on fire, he created a moment that shocked and fascinated the world. This was not just about entertainment. It was about breaking boundaries and showing that music could be more than sound. It could be an experience. Following this performance, his popularity skyrocketed. Songs like Purple Haze and Hey Joe became anthems, not just because of their melodies, but because of the emotion and originality behind them. Hendrix's guitar seemed to speak, expressing feelings that words could not capture. However, with success came pressure. Fame brought expectations, constant attention, and a demand to always deliver something new. For someone like Hendrix, who was always searching for originality, this pressure was both motivating and exhausting. He refused to repeat himself, always pushing forward, experimenting with new sounds and ideas, even when it meant stepping into the unknown. As the late 1960s came to an end, Hendrix stood at the peak of his career, admired by millions and respected by fellow musicians around the world. Yet, beneath the surface, there was a complexity that few people truly understood. He was not just a performer, he was a deeply emotional and thoughtful individual, often carrying feelings that he did not express openly. As 1970 approached, there was a noticeable shift. His performances were still powerful, but there was a depth in them that hinted at something more. It was as if every note he played carried a story, a feeling, something personal that he was trying to communicate. The world saw a legend at his peak, But behind that image was a man navigating the weight of his own brilliance, a journey that was becoming more intense with each passing moment. As 1970 unfolded, Jimi Hendrix remained one of the most influential figures in music, but his journey was becoming increasingly complex. His performances continued to captivate audiences, yet there was a sense that each show carried more than just music. One of the most memorable moments of that year came during his performance at the Isle of Wight Festival, where thousands gathered to witness what they knew would be something special. Standing on stage, Hendrix commanded attention without even trying. The way he held his guitar, the way he moved, and the way he played created an atmosphere that was impossible to ignore. Every note seemed deliberate, every sound filled with emotion. It was not just about technical skill, it was about feeling, about connection, about expressing something deeper than words. Fans did not just watch him, they experienced him, feeling every moment as if they were part of the performance itself. However, behind the powerful stage presence, life was becoming increasingly challenging. Fame had surrounded him completely, leaving little room for personal space or peace. The expectations placed upon him were immense, and the pressure to constantly innovate weighed heavily on his shoulders. Despite this, Hendrix continued to push forward, driven by his passion for music and his desire to create something new. He was never satisfied with simply repeating what had already been done, always searching for a new sound, a new idea, a new way to express himself. This relentless pursuit of creativity is what made him stand out, but it also made his journey more difficult. As the year progressed, it became clear that Hendrix was not just an artist performing for the world. He was an individual dealing with the complexities of fame, creativity, and personal struggle. Then came the moment that would change everything. In September 1970, news spread that Jimi Hendrix had passed away at the age of just 27. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Fans around the world were left in shock, struggling to understand how someone so full of life and talent could be gone so suddenly. It felt unreal, as if the world had lost something irreplaceable. There were questions, there were discussions, but no explanation could truly capture the magnitude of the loss. Yet, even in his absence, his presence remained. His music continued to inspire, his performances continued to be remembered, and his influence continued to grow. New generations discovered his work, feeling the same sense of awe and inspiration that audiences had felt years before. Guitarists studied his techniques, musicians drew inspiration from his creativity, but no one could truly replicate what he had done. That is because Hendrix was not just about skill, he was about emotion, about breaking boundaries, about creating something entirely unique. For his fans, he was more than just a musician. He was a symbol of freedom, creativity, and individuality. His legacy is not defined by the length of his life, but by the